Some Pokemon games have incredible plots that draw you in, get you invested in the characters, and make you really feel everything. And others do not. Today, I'm going to try rewriting the plot of the Kanto games in a way that I would like a bit more. There should be more plot that you have to experience, rather than the order of events being basically up to you and the plot you needing to find out by talking to optional NPCs. Second, there should be a bit more of a story arc, and make it actually take some work for Red to make Team Rocket disband. With that in mind, let's do a rewrite. Make the first chunk of the game, about through beating Misty or so, stay the same. I like how Team Rocket existed, but wasn't really super involved. Just make one change. Going up to Nugget Bridge is not required, and the gate for getting past the house Team Rocket wrecked is beating Misty. Once we're at Vermilion City and on the SSN, Red did not get on because he had a ticket. He got pulled on by one of the sailors because their captain is terribly sick, and they were hoping Red knew a way to cure him. Well, Red goes on the ship, but he just finds out from Blue that something is definitely more wrong with the captain than just being sick, and it probably has something to do with those weird rocket guys. When Red gets to the captain's quarters, he realizes because of reasons that the captain has been poisoned. Also, now seems like a good time to mention that I'll be writing a story that I, a teenager, would enjoy. So while it will have some fun, goofy stuff Pokemon's known for, it will also have some more adult moments such as this. Nothing like intimate or anything though. I have no desire or idea how to write something like that. I don't really know how Red would find out that the captain's been poisoned, but that's not a huge deal. We can just hand-wave that with a bit of exposition. Red would think back to what Blue said about it having to do with those weird rocket guys, so he would go back to the place he had last seen them, Cerulean City, and see if anything's there. When he gets there, someone, I'm thinking an Officer Jenny, would tell him there's been some suspicious activity up north on Nugget Bridge, and he should probably go check it out. Red does so, and rather than it being 5 random trainers and a rocket goon in disguise, they're all rocket grunts. When our hero cleans the clocks, he has to force the rocket grunt at the top to tell him what's going on. But this isn't any ordinary grunt, oh no. This is Archer! Play Heart Gold and Soul Silver to find out who that is. Or just Google him. Archer explains to Red that they did, in fact, poison the captain and he knows where the cure is, and can you please just let him go before your Pokemon pushes him off the bridge? As it turns out, Bill, the Pokemaniac, has the cure. So when Red goes to the house, the normal hijinks ensue, and he gets the cure. Why does Bill have the cure? Who knows? I wrote this at midnight! When Red gets back to the SSN, the captain gives him the HM for cut, as well as a rocket badge that a goon dropped next to him as thanks. I don't know how it fell off, but it might come in handy. The normal course of events follows for a while, with Red defeating Sarge and Erica, but the game is not being played as semi-open world, because I want us to actually have a story, so Red can't get into the Pokemon Tower yet. When Red finishes beating Erica, he still has to go take down Team Rocket in their hideout, but this is something I'm really changing. Instead of their hideout being in the game corner, that's a false alarm that only leads to a bunch of battles without even any items or anything. Instead, Red gets tipped off to go back to Lavender Town, where he tries to go upstairs, but a ghost gets him, doesn't let him do anything, and sends him down to the basement, where a rocket grunt attacks him and demands to know how he got in. Red makes his way through the spinny tile puzzle for a while, before eventually getting to Giovanni. But it isn't Giovanni, because why would a mafia boss waste his time dealing with a 10-year-old? Instead, Red sees Archer again, and this time, he has a much fuller team, because he's not pretending to just be another grunt. Archer does put up a good fight, but when Red beats him, he books it to Giovanni, dropping a sheet of paper that says, "Hail, Giovanni." Once Red finishes this, he does the Pokemon Tower plot, which I'm going to leave pretty much the same, other than making it a bit more explicit what the deal is with Marowak, Cubone, and Mr. Fuji, because really my biggest complaint about these games is how much of the story you don't actually know unless you go out of your way to talk to optional NPCs. Overall, I actually really like this part of the story. When Red gets to Saffron City, yes I am switching the order of Koga and Sabrina because going to Saffron first just makes more sense, he can't get into the gym, like normal, so he goes to Self-Co. As he works his way through, he finds out more about what they're doing there, and by the time he battles Blue again, he has a pretty good idea why Team Rocket is there. Giovanni found out about an extremely powerful Pokemon, but no one seems to know what it is. When he tried to catch it, it didn't even go into his Pokeball, just batting it away like a toy. Since then, Giovanni has been dedicated to trying to find a way to catch it, and when he found out that Sylph was creating a Pokeball that could catch anything, he found his way. Giovanni stormed the Sylph building until he found the president, and is currently in the process of trying to get the Master Ball from him. And that's when Red walks in. Giovanni is trying to yank away the Master Ball, but the president is putting up a good fight, though really his own Pokemon are fairly weak at this point. Red yells at Giovanni to stop, but since he wasn't there in the Rocket hideout, Red isn't actually sure who he is. When Giovanni reveals himself to be the leader of Team Rocket, Red is a little afraid, but doesn't show it, instead just leading Giovanni into a trap. He asks questions until Giovanni gets fed up with how casual the kid is being, and starts monologuing. When that happens, Red makes a quick gesture for the president to try and escape. Giovanni is too distracted to notice, so when the president is just out the door, he grabs a golden ball Red doesn't recognize and chucks it at Giovanni's forehead, knocking him unconscious. Red gets Giovanni tied up in a chair, and the president thanks him for the save. He wants to repay Red, and offers him the new Pokeball that can catch anything. When he shows off the Master Ball, Red asks about the Golden Ball. Oh, that? That was a prototype. I caught a Pokemon with it, but now it can't open. That poor Green Pixie. It'll probably never get out, unfortunately. The original games don't have much plot for a while after this, and honestly I think that works, so I'm gonna pick back up after beating Koga and getting to Cinnabar Island. When Red goes into the Pokemon Mansion, he makes his way through the puzzle, with the area playing out largely the same as in the base game, because honestly, I love that place with all my heart. When Red gets the key to the gym, however, that's when things change. Red pulling the key off the table activates a switch that plays a video recording of the only mandatory diary entry. It's of some man with a hooked nose, gray hair in a strange pattern, and an even weirder looking beard. He's talking frantically and says, the clone, it wasn't finished, but then this strange man came in and broke a machine. He looked like the boss or something, but I have no idea what. He said something about wanting a powerful Pokemon. I don't know what he was talking about, but he tried to capture Mewtwo. It didn't go in his Pokeball, instead just batting it away and teleporting out of here. I have no idea what was going on, but the man is very angry. This will probably be my last diary entry. This is Dr. signing off. The video sizzled like it had corrupted. When Red gets to battling Blaine, he sees things about the man that look just familiar enough that he gets curious. After the fight, our hero asks, "Hey, does the name Mewtwo mean?" Blaine cuts him off, all the goofy cherry demeanor gone from his face. "Listen, do you want to lose that badge you just got? No? Then get out of here before I lose my temper further. And if you come back, just remember that you'll need a bit more than a burn heal." After hightailing it out of there before anything could happen to him, Red gets back to Viridian City and faces the final gym leader. When he gets there, it happens basically the same as canon, other than a bit more dialogue between Red and Giovanni. After the fight, however, is when things deviate. I now confer upon you the Viridian City Earth Badge, so that, unfortunately, your journey may continue. Yada yada. No. No? I won't accept a badge from the leader of Team Rocket. Kid, I'm doing you a favor by just giving you the opportunity for all this. If I had it my way, you would have gotten locked up the second you set foot in our hideout, and never gotten free. So, are you gonna take the badge, or am I gonna get to do what I want? I won't accept a badge from the leader of Team Rocket. Well, you asked for it, kid. Without giving Red time to heal his Pokemon, Giovanni whips out a brand new team. No type locks, no limitations, nothing. Full team, 6 Pokemon, no holds barred. Obviously has Rhydon and Persian, those are obvious. So for others, we pull from his other Pokemon. I'm thinking of Nidoking, Machamp, Kingler, and Ditto. Why Ditto? Well, you know that theory that Ditto is a failed clone of Mew? In this rewrite, that's canon. Giovanni couldn't get Mewtwo, so instead, he got another clone of Mew, a Ditto. But this Ditto is special. When it transforms, it doesn't transform into just a player's Pokemon. Oh no, it transforms into a creature Red has never seen before. When Giovanni calls on Ditto to use Transform, which let's just say has been specially coded so that it becomes priority in this fight, Ditto becomes a strange, blocky abomination that has pincers coming from its sides, things that could be wings but could definitely not be as well, and the head of something weird, with things that might be ears, but it's almost impossible to describe, really. When it comes into being, it yells a nearly incomprehensible cry that sounds like and the text on screen says, Ditto transformed into Glitch? Well, when Ditto transforms, even Giovanni is a little shocked by what he's created, but Red's Pokemon is fully frozen in fear. But Giovanni shakes it off quickly and commands Glitch to use Sky Attack. Sky Attack only takes one turn thanks to the power herb it's holding. It doesn't have very good stats, but I love the idea that when it attacks, it automatically knocks out whatever Pokemon Red has, no matter what stats it has. It's very challenging because Glitch will automatically knock out several of Red's Pokemon, but eventually, Red wins and Giovanni is defeated. Very well. You have shown me your worth. You may not accept a badge from the leader of Team Rocket, but if you don't, I will send a message to the Pokemon League. Go forth and become the new champion!